Yep, I'm talking to you. You're getting hungry. Very hungry. Your mouth is watering. You have a craving. A craving for Doritos. A craving for crunchy tacos. Well, have I got the treat for you. It's that time again. It's grill time, baby. Come on in tomorrow only to get your charcoal for 50% off. Choose your favorite smoker. That's 20% off. 3453 North Kimball in Chicago, Illinois. Remember, this sale is for one day only. Now that's how you save big money. It's selling out fast and secure. Your tickets now. The first annual 1043 2018 Hip Hop Fallback Jam Session. It's something you don't want to miss. Hey, it's Danaya, Azure, and you are now tuned in to No Filter Radio with your host, Dope as Music.
So we're working on that.
Television.
Sissy. So I think it's so special having my big sister do my makeup. I love when my sissy Erica helps me kind of play, I say dress up. It just makes me feel like, you know, my big sister making me look fly, as she would say. I like it. Smoky sexy.
Social media. Video shoots. Photo shoots. Live stream.
Like 2 weeks ago, and most of you know I'm a casting associate, so I cast background and extras and whatever for 4-Star Casting.
Movies.
Dwayne, can I see you in my office?
Yeah. Can I use the bathroom first?
Well, make it fast.
YouTube videos.
Sweet love, hear me calling out your name. I feel no shame in love. Don't you ever.
Or commercials. Danaya Designs for You will get you right. Grab that S4S jewelry. Just go to bit.ly/DD4U jewelry.
Located at 4655 South King Drive. Approved by Papas Everywhere.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome back. Shout out to Erica. I feel like she was in my broadcast earlier. We were talking about how she survived her domestic abusive relationship. So make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. Oh, child. So I wanted to tell you guys, because early voting is still going on right now. I want to tell you about my experience with early voting real quick. So we were going to go to early voting last Wednesday. We got there about noon or so. The line was around, the line was like down like around the block, down the corner. And we're like, yeah, we're not doing this today. So we went on, I was like, okay, let's go when we first open up. And so we can get in and get out. I'm thinking, like, now typically when you go early voting, y'all, if y'all have early voted before, you know, you go in, no line, no wait, nothing, walk in, walk out, done in 15 minutes. That's not the case anymore. You voted through mail. Okay, awesome sauce. Probably the best bet. For real. So what was it? So we went to early voting, and we got there about, the polls opened up at 8:30. We were there about 8:05 or 8:06, whatever. So it wasn't too long, but the line was still longer than I'm used to. And then, of course, social distancing is even longer. And then, so the whole process for us took about an hour. Because think about it, you're outside, you're waiting, then you're inside, you're waiting, then you get your packet, still waiting, right? And I was not the hack, I'm sorry, you fill out your form, you go to another spot, and you're waiting, and then you get to vote. Voting takes about 15 minutes. The whole process for us took about an hour. Now, I've heard in Vegas, it takes about 3 hours. So the biggest thing that I would say is make sure that when you're there, you come early. Whatever time your polling place opens, come. Depending on what city you're in, if you're in Chicago, try to get your polling place at least 45 minutes early, if you can. Because otherwise you're waiting 2 to 3 hours. Possibly 4. Because with the social distancing, and then so with the social distancing, it's so crazy because usually we have, you have the voting machines in there, like all stacked up around, right? Now the voting machines are like, at least at Warren Park, they were 4 per room, and you have 2 rooms, so you literally have 8 machines total. So it takes a little bit now, so it's like you really have to think about it, but now if you do choose to vote by mail, what you do is you fill out your form and then you can drop it off at the box. So if you are unable to stand for a long period of time, I would recommend one of 2 things. You can bring a chair with you, because that's what my friend in Vegas did. Shout out to Candy Conda. She actually brought a chair with her. She had she was telling me, she had a whole kit. She had a chair, she had sandwiches, she had, drinks, everything, just in case she had to wait in line for 4 to 5 hours. And so she only had to, she had to wait 3 hours. Or the whole process took 3 hours for her to vote. But like I said, it depends on what city you're in. Some people are waiting 5 to 6 hours. But I think what's really cool is that people are willing to weather these long lines so that they can do what they need to do, because we need to make sure that we are in the process. You cannot complain if you do not say anything. I'm sorry, if you don't vote, I don't want to hear no complaining. I really don't. And people can say, well, the president was chosen years ago. Well, everything's corrupt. Okay. I get it. But at the same token, the presidential election is not as important as the elections that everybody seems to miss. And those are the elections for Congress. Those are the elections for state senators. Those are the elections for judges. Like, I know for us, we don't have, like, the judges don't go against each other. You just decide whether you want them in office or not. Well, I don't like the way they have been running this system, so I was like, oh, y'all gotta go. Period. Everybody gotta go, because at this point, you're not doing your jobs correctly, so why the hell do you think that you deserve to have them? I think the biggest misconception that we have when it comes to politics is that we don't have the power, and we do. But we are so focused on only the executive branch. We are so focused on only the presidential election that we forget elections occur every 2 years, not every 4. Presidential elections occur every 2 years. Senators get elected every 6 years, but elections occur every 2. So a Senate term is a 6-year term. Some of these senators have been in office as long as they've been alive. It's insane how much power that they have, because people forget that we make the choices for those positions. Like I said, the presidential election is a little bit different because of the Electoral College, but everything else is strictly done by the people. There was no electoral college for a senator or for a state rep or for a judge. Those are the offices that are the most important, and those are the ones that are forgotten about constantly. And that's what needs to change. If you want to see things change in your community, you have to know who your mayor is, know who your alderman is, know who your state rep is. Don't just focus on your ward. At least know what ward you're in. I don't know what they call it in other cities. I know Chicago, we're broken up into wards. So we're broken up into 50 wards actually. But basically your ward is just your section of the city, your community in the city. So whoever is your alderman is your mayor of that section of the city. This is so important because everyone forgets about these main elections. Like, they always have the lowest turnout for whatever reason, but the presidential election turnout is so huge, and it's like, okay, great, now where's their backup? Like, everybody was gung-ho, we all went out there, Brock, yeah, let's get it. 2008, 2010, where were y'all? Like, where were we? We had the situation that we had with Barack Obama because in 2010, y'all forgot that there was another election. Y'all forgot that he needed backup. Y'all forgot that Barack don't make no damn laws. He signs them. The president does not make laws. They enforce them. They sign the laws. They turn a bill into a law. But it has to go through Congress first. So if Congress can't agree, or if Congress isn't listening, or if Congress doesn't care about the issue, then shouldn't you vote out the people that don't have your best interest at heart? Or are you just going to blame it on the president because that's who you think makes all the rules? No. They don't make any of the rules. They just enforce them or choose not to enforce them, depending on whoever the hell is in office. You see, the person that's in office now is enforcing all the bullshit. Aren't y'all ready for a change, or are y'all comfortable with this situation? Because I'm not. I'm still trying to understand how in the world this fool got in the first place. Is our current choice perfect? No. But it's up to us to make sure that we get out the person who is causing us harm right now. Over 200,000 people have died because the person that is currently occupying the White House has made the choice to not only not wear a mask, but to actually tell people not to wear masks. The current administration has made the choice to not. Can somebody tell me? Can the man say coronavirus yet, or does he still call it the China virus? The current administration has made the choice to not give a damn about the people who put him in power, because he forgets that in order to get those electoral votes, you still got to get the popular vote too in each state. That's what creates the electoral college. Is the popular vote. So the more people that vote in that state, then the more electoral votes you get. But he forgets that part. So he only works on his base and forgets about everybody else. And that has been proven because, again, over 200 people have died on his watch. You can't blame that on Barack Obama. You can't blame that on former President Bush. You can't blame that on anyone but yourself, Mr. Current Occupant of the White House. That was your choice. For whatever reason, I do not understand it. But that's what your choice was. So now we have the power to change this, because this is unacceptable. So we have the power to at least change this part. And then in 2022, we have the power to give whoever, hopefully, will be Joe Biden, we have the power to get them back up so that we can have laws changed or enforced properly by someone who actually cares about this country, because it's clear it's not like we're saying, oh well, the media just says this, the media just says that. The media can say whatever they want. I'm looking at facts. I'm looking at the fact that the country never shut down. Let's be very, very clear. The country never shut down. What happened was 45 said it's up to the states. So every state did not shut down. There are some states that still have never shut down. There are some states that had shut down for a very short period of time and then open back up. Hey, Louie, how are you? There are some states that just literally don't care. Like, I'm confused about Florida. I'm confused about Florida because I think they shut down for what? They kind of shut down, but not really. Like, it's really, really tricky. Really, really tricky. They kind of shut down, but not really. Because, like, even when they were shut down, they still had the beaches up. Like, Florida confuses me because that's where everybody went, for spring break, chilling, with the Rona, just running around. Came back and made their family sick. That was cute. What did y'all accomplish from that? Like, for real? Like, how much money was it enough? Did you make enough money? Did you make enough money that all these people are now sick and some have died because you wanted to have spring break? I get it, Florida. You're mad because Disney World was closed for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Because Disney World's back open up. They're kind of chilling, social distancing and all that. I get it. Y'all were mad because Disney World had a little setback. Disney's not complaining because Disney owns everything, so they're still getting paid. I'm confused. Is it because Florida wasn't getting the state tax from it? Like, I don't know. I'm trying to understand the logic of putting so many people in harm. You get to a point where you're just frustrated with the way things are. And I get it. People are thinking, what's the point? Does my vote matter? If your vote didn't matter, they wouldn't work so hard to make it so that you didn't want to vote. I'm going to say this again. If your vote did not matter, they would not make it so difficult for you to vote. There's so many practices right now where polling places are opening late and closing early, changing their days, trying to suppress the vote of the people. Because they know the power of the numbers. They've seen them. What I think you people don't understand is that when it comes to voting, and it comes to community service, and it comes to community outreach, and it comes to activism, it all goes hand in hand as much as we don't want to think about it. When I was an activist, I wasn't even trying to get into politics, but it happened because you think about the rules or the laws you need to change, and you have to go through policy in order to do that. And so if you have to go through policy, you have to make sure the alderman that you're working with is going to approve the policy that you need. Perfect example. This bit situation. Hold on. What? Oh, was it really about how there's something else? So the whole situation when it comes to Rona is really, really tricky because I think it's a combination of both. I think the biggest issue was the fact that, we shut down 43 programs that would help us to prevent this situation. Shout out to 45 for that bullshit. Thanks, dude. Because he thought we didn't need the programs in place because we haven't had a pandemic in a while. Well, yeah. You know, it's really tricky because it seems like it's a situation where it's more about control, population control for real, because it is a form of population control because you had all these people that are home, some that have not gone back to work, some that because they can't. Now let's be very clear. Some people, before there was a full quarantine, some people were self-quarantining because they had pre-existing conditions. So some people have been home for almost a year because they're afraid of getting sick. Because some people just can't get sick. They cannot get any form of it. Like, I think people don't understand when it comes to Rona, it's really, really tricky because as much as you want to say, oh, it's a conspiracy, this, that, and third, it's real. I've had pneumonia before. That's no fun. Having pneumonia is no fun. You can't breathe. The Rona is a respiratory infection, a severe respiratory infection. From what I've heard from people that have had it, it's pneumonia on steroids. If you had pneumonia, your lungs fill up with fluid, and you can barely breathe, you can barely talk. It's just not a good time. Not a good time by any means. And so it's really tricky because there's a question of, should you wear the mask, should you not? This and the third. And I can't give you the answer on what's the best way to deal with it. I can say that I have friends that actually have gotten sick for real. And let's not get to talking about whether votes really count. Shout out to ancestors who fought for the right to vote. Like I said, it's really, really tricky. So the voting process is so tricky, right? So the way that it works, you go in, you have people that check your name off to make sure that you're not voting twice. All of these things, right? After the votes are counted, they have to wait. Like for election day, especially, they have to wait for like the mail-in ballots and all that stuff. But I think the mail-in ballots are tricky because the mail-in ballots, they usually come in after. So that's why elections can take longer. And the way that elections are predetermined that night is because so many votes have come in that the mail-in ballots wouldn't matter, right? Which sometimes happens. It actually happens a lot, as a matter of fact. It's very rare that mail-in ballots actually change the election. Now, it was a little bit different this year because more people are mailing in the ballots than ever before. So this year's going to be a little bit different. I think the biggest thing is, when it comes to voting, this misconception that votes don't really count, especially when it comes to local elections. When it comes to national elections, it's a little bit trickier. They do, but the process is really weird. But when it comes to local elections, oh yeah, those votes count. Like, I've literally seen someone almost lose their seats because of 305 votes. 305 votes. We could have. I was working an automatic race, and the incumbent almost lost their seat because of 305 votes. It was that close, and it was insane because we knew what the alternative was, but some people still didn't vote. And so this whole thing of, what counts, what doesn't, it depends. I can guarantee you your local elections are heavy when it comes to popular vote. The national elections are as well, but it also it's also determined by your local election. So what a lot of people don't realize when it comes to the Electoral College comes from your elected officials that are already in office. So your Electoral College comes from like your like for us, we have the Cook County board and people from there. Some of the aldermen. So all of it, you vote on who your Electoral College representatives are. Most people don't know that though. So yes, they have the vote essentially, but you have to vote them in to begin with. Did I hear correctly? 45 has declined the second debate. I gotta look at the piece when it comes to Harris's staff. But with 45, of course he did. He can't talk. Like 45 is sick. He didn't just magically get cured overnight. He's sick. And he has a respiratory infection, which means he can't talk. He can barely hold an interview. And he was coughing like all the way through the daggone interview. His throat was sore. He cannot speak. And it would be very dangerous for him to try to do an in-person anything. And if he's doing anything in person, throw the whole staff away for allowing that mess to happen because you're putting people in danger with the person who was sick. I'm not surprised. Of course not. It's insane. Because I haven't checked to see if Harris's staff is sick, but I'll double check that as well. But what if I heard an interview with him and I was like, "Woo, ouch." And he likes to talk, so he's just blown by this. But think about it. He didn't want to wear a mask. He wanted to say it wasn't important. He wanted to call it China virus. All these things. Karma's a bitch with a really, really phenomenal memory. And even what was even crazy was when he talked about the fact that he knew how dangerous the situation was. We didn't want to, quote unquote, cause a panic, so we acted like it was nothing. And now he's sick. He's like, I knew it was airborne, but you knew it was airborne, but you told all these people to not wear masks at your event, and that's why, rest in peace, Herman Cain passed because he was at your event with no mask on, and you knew the situation? Child. If you haven't already done so, please thumbs up this video. If you have not already done so, please thumbs up this video. You can do so during the broadcast. You can do so on the replay. You can do so whether you are in the bushes or you are in the chat. It is absolutely appalling that this is where we are. We're sitting here right now trying to figure out how we're going to get through all of this. I know the stores are in panic right now. The malls and things, because they're empty. I went to the mall last week to grab some pants or whatever, and I've never seen it so empty. That's why it's so important to make sure that you're supporting people that have businesses, whether it be online or whatever, because they're not getting that walking traffic that they used to. Online businesses are what's thriving right now, and that's why it's important to make sure that you guys are supporting your independent businesses. Shout out to Nail by Goddess. I cannot wait till I get my nails. I'm so excited. I'm going to do a review video, all that stuff, of course. So make sure y'all go ahead and support. I'm going to throw the website right down there so y'all can go check her out, because she's definitely doing the daggone thing. But this is the time to support people. This is the time to make sure that we are showing love to one another. because there's so much going on right now. There's just so much going on right now. Between 45 in office, between having to deal with COVID and everything, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts right now. So the question is, how do we get through this? How do we thrive through this is the better question. And how do we support one another? Yes, nails are now available. I saw it. She's getting nails up there. If you have not subscribed to Nailed by God, you can go ahead and do so at the link that I just dropped. And shout out to y'all. Like, I'm loving like the new subs coming in. Shout out to all my new subs. Yes. I was like, okay, we're gonna be at 1,000 very, very soon with all of this going on. I love it. And shout out to everybody that's bringing real content, because that's what's important right now. Because the mainstream media isn't telling you everything. And they won't. Because that's not their job. Their job is to paint a narrative. Let's be very, very clear. The mainstream media has one job, and that's to create a narrative. The job of content creators is to fix it. The job of Black content creators is to change that narrative. They want to paint us in a specific light. We need to stop letting them do that. That's why it's so important to, if you are in film and media, we need to show people a different way. We need to show people something different when it comes to how we treat one another, what we can do, what we've accomplished, because they're not telling us. I was talking to someone a couple of days ago, and I was trying to understand how we didn't know, how we were not taught that Black women were the reason that America went to space. Like, we heard about Neil Armstrong all day long. I heard nothing about the Black woman that got in there. Until what? 3 years ago, something like that? Whenever Hidden Figures came out? It's nuts. It's insane. It's appalling. It's disgusting. But that's because we do not control the mainstream media. But we do control social media. And we do need to get back to remembering that. We control these platforms. Mainstream media does not. There are a couple mainstream media spots that have started doing live streaming, but you know why? Because so many independent vloggers were telling the truth and saying, stop editing the truth. Now, shout out to everybody that edits their videos. Edited videos are amazing. But when it comes to editing the truth, that's where I have a problem. Right? Yes, exactly, Louie. Shout out to guys for the No Carbs in the Barrel website. Yes, yes, yes. That's where the problem is. There is a difference between streaming the truth, editing content so that it can fit in a certain time frame, and completely editing the truth and telling lies. And a lot of the mainstream media, like, so they have a narrative to paint. They have products to sell. What if I told you that television is basically nothing more than a commercial, and the TV shows are the intermission between commercials? Same thing with radio. Radio and television, the programming is simply the way to lead you to another ad. It's true. It sucks, but it's true. That's why people need to pay attention to what's going on. And even when your vote controls that as well. Because everything's controlled by politics. Everything. YouTube is controlled by politics. Like, you can't get, as much as you want to get away from it, you can't. It's all controlled by politics. It's all popularity contests, all of that. But when it comes to this election, hey Chupa, how are you? Man, please vote. I get it. I understand what you're saying. I understand that people are saying this is not important. My vote doesn't matter. Blah, blah, blah. That's what they want you to think. Do you honestly think people would have died for the right to vote if it didn't matter? Do you honestly think people would be in states where they are being specifically suppressed if voting didn't matter? If voting didn't matter, they wouldn't work this hard to make sure that you don't do it. They're throwing everything out there because they don't want people to go to the polls, because they don't want people to know their power. Well, people aren't telling you when it comes to these protests, because, like, the numbers they have out there, they're good, but they're light. When the protests were super heavy and the power of the people was real, for the first Women's March, we had 250,000 in Chicago, 750,000 in D.C. I forget what it was in New York, but we had millions of people come out. Millions of people came out for the Women's March, the very first one. Now imagine if all those millions of people did the same thing and went to the polls. And I was so irritated. I was like, so all y'all come out. Now where the hell were y'all on election day? But now you mad because you made the wrong choice. What the hell? What? I'm confused. You don't want to be that person. You want to be the person that says, you know what? I let my voice be heard. I let people know that, no, I'm not going to allow someone to take away everything that I've worked for. We were talking yesterday about the NFL and saying, you know, what happened with Kaepernick, and they were saying that Roger Goodell apologized. Okay, that's cute. They're saying that now, after everything shut down, there's nothing else to do, and you are forced to look at it. Now you see the light. Now you see what happened. Now you see why he was kneeling. Hey, Miss Kept Secret, how are you? Much love. Well, that is what this place is found, auditing the truth. So to say too much quote unquote power to lose if they tell the truth. Oh, absolutely. I'm worried about the marriage. I'm worried about the marriage because the new Supreme Court justice might overturn it. See, and these are the kind of things that people forget about when it comes to elections. The rainbow community, I can't remember the year, but very recently gained their right to marry. They were mad. People were mad about that, like seriously mad about that. I've been trying to overturn it, but not really understanding why people did it in the first place. When it came down to the situation with AIDS, there were so many people that were together that could not be together in their final days because they weren't married, because it wasn't legal to be married, so they couldn't even be in the room with their partners. The reason that marriage equality was so important was because there are people that have been in relationships for 25, 30 years that weren't allowed to legally say that they were together. Imagine being with someone for 20, 30 years and you can't say that you're together. You can say you love one another, but you can't call them your wife or your husband because that's what the law says. And I get it, like I get the whole, religious thing, and when it comes to that, but that's a whole nother conversation. But I think when it comes to the law shouldn't determine who you love and how you love, especially when you put in 20, 30 years of work. These elections are so important because those kinds of issues, those are the issues that don't just affect. It does not. They don't just affect the lower class, the middle class, or the upper class. Those are the kind of issues that affect everyone. Because everyone has somebody that's in their life as a part of the rainbow community. Whether they know it or not, they do. When it comes to your housing, that's affected by politics. When it comes to your roads, that's affected by politics. Everything you do is affected by politics. And it's affected by who you have in office. The day it was approved, the happiness that he had was just insane. My husband is now entitled to my benefits in case if something happens to me, and at the health care that I offer because of my job. And that's just it. Your partner should be entitled to that. And the fact that until marriage equality even happened, that wasn't the case is appalling. It's absolutely disgusting that we thought that it was okay to tell people not only who they could love as long as they were of appropriate age. Let's not even get into that conversation. We were trying to tell people how to live their lives when it comes to the people that they love and care about. And that's wrong. No matter how you slice it, that is wrong. So yes, voting is important. Now, when you go voting, this is what people forget. There's always some kind of an amendment in every state. There's always some kind of new law they want to push. And if you do not vote, you're not part of that process. You're not part of that conversation. It's already bad enough that y'all aren't going to community meetings. You have no idea what's going on. In between elections, some things that you can do to get involved is to make sure that you are either going to community meetings or or right now, if y'all don't want to go out, I understand. Keeping up with town halls, keeping up with what's going on in the local offices. That's what you can do in between elections. Because you can't just give a damn when it comes to elections. Otherwise, you're going to lose every single time. You'll be like, who is that person? Why should I care? What I do? You never want to be that person. Don't be the person that doesn't know who their alderman is, doesn't know who their mayor is, doesn't know who their state rep is. Be the person who is in front of these people. Be the person that if you don't come to an event, people are asking about you. You can go to my current Cook County president right now, ask him who I am. She'll give you my nickname and tell you what I've done working with her and how she got in office and how I was working with her and how she met me when I was an advocate for housing when I was like 20. And then how I volunteered at her campaign for 2.5 years that's kept her in office and put her in office in the first place. So when people say that elections don't matter, you have no idea what some people have done in order to get some of these people in office. We're trying to get good people that are actually doing work in office. But that's in between elections. Y'all don't even know the backstory of all those kinds of things. By the time you see people's names, there's been so much work done before that, that's why when some of our state reps came through, it was such a blessing because we knew what the backstory was. We knew how much work had went into building the political career. As a matter of fact, one of her old volunteers is now a state senator because he learned how to navigate, how to move. People ask me if I want to do politics. No, y'all crazy. Hell no, we ain't doing that. I refuse. Y'all got so many issues y'all gotta do with so much bullshit. No, thank you. Chicago politics is dirty enough. I ain't got the patience, time, energy. I ain't trying to go to jail. All of that. But I support dope people all day long. All day long, no questions asked. I would knock on the door, not right now because I ain't talking to people, but I would knock on the door if you need me to come out to an event, things like that. When my friends ran for alderman the last election, and I met her because she was a part of a group called Voices of Youth in Chicago Education, where she came on and she was talking about, how she even got into politics. She's not a politician, but she's somebody that cared about the community, and she knew what needed to be changed. She didn't win this round, but trust me, if she goes back, she got it. That was the first time running, but not the first time making change. Voices of Youth, voice is the acronym. It was all about having students make change in their education. There are things that that group specifically enacted that's currently still in place. So much confidence has been lost in the systems over the years. Not without reason. Kudos to you and others for their continued efforts in spite of it. Absolutely. And that's the thing. Yeah, I understand people have lost confidence in the justice system. Holding the line. Holding the line. People have lost confidence when it comes to the elections, the elected officials. I get that. I get that more than anyone. But the reason that I am still heavy, and I'm not as heavy as I was in it, because I was deep into politics. And I needed a break after that, because, child, I ain't got enough liquor. But it's because I did see the difference. I did see what happens when people don't vote. I did see what happens when people do vote. I know what it took. I know what it took to get Tony in office. I know how much work we had to do. I know what was against us. I know we were told at one point just to, all the black folks drop out and let the current person that was in there just back him. I remember on the day that we had our press conference how we had no press because the press was down in Springfield talking to someone else who had to eventually drop out because they were actually doing something called Gene Day, where they were having their staff come in and it was Casual Friday, but they had their staff come in and pay $1 in order to wear jeans on Friday, even though it's Casual Friday. So the little jean scandals what got them out. But that was who everyone was originally backing before they saw the light, only because of the damn jean scandal. And then eventually everyone else dropped out. But that took years to get to that point. So it took a minute for us to even get Tony to the point of getting on the ballot. And then once it was on the ballot, we had to explain why she needed to stay on the ballot. And the challenges that you have when you get on the ballot. Like, there's so much more involved in politics. Y'all have no idea. When you get to challenging ballots and all that kind of stuff, that's a mess. An absolute mess. Because people challenge votes all the time before you can get on the ballot. The fight to get on the ballot is no joke. That's why I'm confused on how Kanye is under vice president. Dude, what the hell was you doing? Child, hold on. Actually, that's the house one. I'm paying attention to the thing. Yeah. So it was just insane. Like, it's absolutely insane why people think that politics isn't important, but politics affects everything in our lives. And people that haven't been involved in it are gonna not have confidence in it because they don't know. They don't know. And if you don't know better, you're not gonna do better. But I can tell you this. I know people that didn't vote in 2016 look pretty stupid right now because now we got a person in the White House that clearly doesn't give a damn at all. Like, if you're not stroking his ego, you ain't getting nothing done, and that'll make no sense because he doesn't know what he's doing. I think what we need to start doing is really, really sitting back and thinking, how can we make change? Like, for real change. What steps do we need to take to make for real change? And that requires learning about some of your judges, learning about your state rep, knowing who your alderman is, knowing who your mayor is, knowing who your governor is, and knowing what they do. Because when you know what they do, then you can understand if they're doing their job or not. We have a brand new mayor and a brand new governor. And the one thing that I can say, if this that's going on right now has not been a determining factor of how they have run their states and their cities, is everything perfect? No. Everything isn't perfect. Chicago has a whole crazy situation when it comes to violence that they created. And that's not gonna die overnight. You have to think about when it comes to Chicago, because when it comes to Chicago and what our reputation is, it's because of what the city has allowed, right? So if you don't know who John Burgess is, I can do a live on that to kind of catch you guys up on it. But it's really tricky, and I got to be very careful of what I say, because it's really, really, really touchy situation, because there are multiple people that have been convicted that were innocent, but they were forced into saying that they were guilty, and now they have served time for no reason. My sister's running for her city, and someone pulled out that she as a transgender sister. Her sister was stunned by the situation, but she says she doesn't care. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. These are the kind of dirty bullshit tactics that people will pull in politics. Because they expected Chupa's sister to sit there and cry and whine and I denounce her and this, that, and third. And she said, I don't care. Because she loves her sister. And she accepts her sister. And she supports her sister. And she'll care about her sister and choose her sister over the bullshit politics any day. But the fact that she did that, I hope she gets in, and she should, because that shows her integrity. That shows her humility. That shows that she cares about her family. For real, for real. To be able to take that heat and be like, okay, and what do you have next? Because they're trying to do it. They're trying to break her based on what they think the voters want. But the voters are going to be like, wait a minute. So she was honest about it, and she cares, and she supports her. that means the rainbow community is going to come out even harder for her. That's all it means. The rainbow community is going to come out even harder for her because she's stuck up for them. The rainbow community is a very powerful community that people tend to ignore for whatever reason. And it's a very beautiful community. I have a lot of friends and family that are part of the rainbow community. That's why I go off when people say ignorant, homophobic bullshit, because I don't go for that. Because I grew up around the rainbow community. And I know how many beautiful people there are in that community. And there are so many misconceptions that drives me nuts because they're just people and they're good people that get a bad rap because too many churches have put into the minds of people that the rainbow community is bad and evil and this and that and the other BS. That can absolutely, that's what I said, Louis. That can definitely be turned around to a strength of acceptance. That's exactly how she gonna see it. Yep. That's exactly how she gonna see it. There are so many people right now that are in this country that don't know what they need to do. They don't know what. They don't know how they're gonna survive. They're looking for leadership. I'm telling you right now, it's not in the White House. Not at all. This fool can't even lead. And last time I checked, I heard he's still not wearing a mask. Like it's I have so many reasons why this man needs to go. So many reasons. But not just him. Throw the whole cabinet away. Because they're allowing him to do this. Yes. You need to vote. Like, dead ass. Y'all need to vote. If you don't vote, it's still a vote. No vote is still a vote. Sorry. At this point, I don't even care if you vote for Green Party, but you need to vote, period. At least voice your opinion because this right here, we can't do this. This man does not care. He has proven it. 200,000. Let me get the number. Let me get the number before I get out of here so you can hear the actual number. Yeah, the actual number. Hold on. I'm getting the actual number so you guys can know. Because I guess it's just crazy. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. 1 second, you guys. US. Total. So let's see. The actual number is. Ouch. 220,000 people have lost their lives because the current occupant of the White House has made the conscious decision to not wear a mask, to not shut down the country for real. Oh, Jesus. To hold rallies with no masks or masks optional or whatever. 220,000 people, over 220,000 people have lost their lives because people thought it was a good idea not to vote in the last election, and the person that's in charge literally does not care. But y'all can correct this. Like I said, it's not just about the presidential election. In each state, I think they'll have an amendment to vote on. I know we have one here. It's more than just the presidential election. You got to vote in those judges. Y'all wonder why people get off that shouldn't? It's because those judges have been in place for years and no one's checked them. People just say yes every time. Say no. If you know they're not doing their damn job, say no. When it comes to your state senators, if you know they're not doing their job, vote them out. Vote them out. Pay attention to what they're saying no. Pay attention to what they're voting on and what they're not voting on, what they're approving, what they're not approving. When we had the big box ordinance, the big box ordinance was, what was it, I want to say 2010? Yeah, I want to say it was 2010. And the big box ordinance, basically we had, no, wait. Actually, it might have been, hold on, I think it might have been 2007, actually. It's been a minute. But the big box ordinance is when we were trying to make sure that every single big box company gave, at the time, a living wage, which was $10 an hour, right? We had multiple aldermen that decided they didn't want to support it. Well, we had an election coming up. And so the ones that chose not to support it, well, they don't have a job anymore. If you didn't support companies making billions of dollars a day, giving their workers $10 an hour, you don't need your job, apparently, because you don't give a damn about your constituents. We need to take that in every city. If there's something that our politicians do not support, and it's good for the entire city or state or county, they do not need to be a representation of that city, state, or county. And those are the elections that we have the most power in. Because when we chose those are the people that go to Washington and deal with the main rich people. The president. We don't have a president right now. We have a current occupant of the White House that they call president. I want a president again. Can't do this another time. Yes, we've all gotten to know each other very freaking well because we can't go nowhere for real. We can go places with masks on with so much restrictions. Like, come on, y'all. We've seen what happens when we don't vote. This is the result. Let's try this voting thing again. I mean, what do you have to lose? We know what happens when you don't do it, so why don't we try it? If you hadn't voted yet, do it. You have, we started on Wednesday last week. So election day in Illinois is November 3rd. I don't know. Every state doesn't have, I take that back. Every state's voting day is November 3rd. It's the primaries where it gets tricky because it's different for different states. But every state votes November 3rd. But right now, they have mail-in voting as well as in-person voting, which is early voting. And I'm loving the photos I'm seeing around the country of people waiting in those lines to vote. It's so beautiful to see so many people taking part in this process because we need to. Because we need to let these politicians know that no, your job isn't going to be forever. You're not just going to sit up there and, make a little laws and stay in power until you die. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Would you support a mandatory COVID testing and immunization? Hell no. Absolutely not. Nope. Absolutely not. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. I don't even take a flu shot. So no way in hell. And the reason I don't take a flu shot is because they have to give you the flu in order to give you the vaccine or create the vaccine, quote unquote. No, not the way my body's set up. I refuse, child. Nope, I would not. You can't call a person president. You can't call a person rather. You can't call a president person that runs a different part of the country and denounces the rest of it. I was right the first time. You can't call a person president that runs different parts of the country and denounces the rest of it because they don't support his antics and won't change a thing. You're right. You're right. You cannot call someone president who's not doing things that help the entire country. They're only helping a select few. That's why I call him the current occupant of the White House. I was talking to someone when it comes to the Rona, and they were saying that eventually it'll get to the point where it weakens, and it's just as and it's the same way with the flu. Like it's to that point. Like I'm waiting for that to happen so people can move around the way they need to. Because right now it's just super strong, and I don't know when it's going to do that, but hopefully soon. But no, I would never support a mandatory any freaking thing. The mandatory masks, yeah, I support that because that's actually helping people. But this whole mandatory vaccine, I can't do it. I cannot. I will not. Like I said, people haven't left their crib since like February. Some people, it's insane of what we're dealing with right now. So we have to get to the point where we understand the power of our vote. I'm telling you right now, people didn't die for our right to vote for no freaking reason. And by the way, can the next president make our right to vote our actual right, though? Like, I'm still trying to understand. So, what y'all don't know is that we actually don't have the right to vote. We have to ask permission every 20 some odd years. I believe, I remember the conversation was at the last time. Of course, Barack Obama was all for it, but the people that were in office were not trying to change that. So hopefully the next person that gets in there can go and fix that law. Because that's kind of crazy that we're still asking permission to vote at this point. We're not having the right to. Like, what? I don't even know how that works. It's insane, but it's true. It's like every 20, 25 years, we're supposed to ask permission. The hell happened to that law? I'm so confused on how that occurred. But again, let's take what we have and use it so that we can have the right to vote for real. Gotta ask permission every 25 years. What kind of bullshit? Oh, these laws were not made for us. I swear for goodness, they really, really weren't. These laws were not made for us. It damn sure was made by us. But if you are going to vote, if you're going to early vote, depending on what state that you are in, just be ready. I think in Florida, I've seen some pretty long lines. In Georgia, I've seen some pretty crazy lines. But try to get there as early as you possibly can. If you have a problem standing, go ahead and bring a chair with you. Bring some snacks. Just have a time to kind of chill out. Make sure your phone's charged. Get somebody some watch time. Hell, get somebody some watch time while you're out there. Find your favorite content creator. Create a playlist. That's a good idea. If you are out there and you're in one of those states and you gotta wait for like 2-3 hours, create a playlist of your favorite content creators and just watch their content. Make sure your phone's charged. And then go vote. But if we don't, well, we see the result. And in 2 years, go vote again. In 4 years, go vote again. In between that time, go to your community meetings. Keep up with the emails from the alderman. Find out who your alderman is. Find out who your state rep is. Find out what politicians are running, what their platforms are, and whether you should support them or not. And if they're doing good things, find a way to support them and promote them. That is how you truly make change. Sitting on your buttons, doing nothing, and just yelling and screaming on the internet and oh, they're doing this wrong. What are you going to do about it is the question. If you're silent, nothing will get done. If there's no action behind your words, nothing will ever be achieved. I'm just going to go through this over and over again because of lip service. Go vote, you guys. Don't wait till the last minute. If you have to go on election day, go early. I believe polls open at like 6:30 on election day. The same way that y'all camp out for Best Buy when freaking Black Friday happens. Think about that for voting. I'm not even kidding right now because we need to make sure that our voices are heard. Because they haven't been. Not for real. It's cute to sit up there and do stuff when everyone else is doing it and looting all this stuff because everyone's doing it. But what did that do? How did that help anything? What did that change? There are ways to get into these systems to actually make change, but those start at the polling place. All right, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. You sent in your ballot 2 weeks ago. Shout out to Miss Gift Seeker. Shout out to everybody that voted already. Y'all are the real MVPs. I truly, truly appreciate every single one of y'all. Like, shout out to y'all. If you haven't voted already, make sure y'all do so. And just be ready for it. Ready for it. Like I said, if you want to go and you know you like to watch YouTube, Instagram, whatever, just go ahead, make a playlist for your favorite content creator and just scroll and chill out, have your little chair, and wait your turn. And that's it. Go before we can't. Let's start there. Make sure we vote before we can. People try to make it a damn dictatorship. But anywho, shout out to everybody that came through. If y'all haven't already done so, let me make sure that y'all go ahead and check out Nailed by Goddess. You can go ahead. Her channel is right in the description. Not inside the description. It's in the links. Right over here. Right in the chat. I might come back later on for a network and chill, so I'll see what my schedule is looking like. I know my boy's going on air at like 8, so I shall listen to that broadcast. I gotta see how they're acting though, because they be cutting up. So yes, thank you, Lady Detroit. Alrighty, you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get on out of here. I'll let you guys know if I'm going live later. I'll set up the live or whatever. So if there's nothing else going on, I'll go ahead and give you guys some network and chill, a little bit of music, a little bit of conversation. Nothing major. It's all about the watch hours. I'm not even gonna lie. I need my watch 10 hours. Let's be clear. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep going live until I get them, because that's how social media works. You keep doing things until you get you get what you want and get what you need. So that's what we're gonna do here, and we're gonna do it with integrity. So shout out to all my new subscribers. Y'all rock, and This is gonna keep growing and growing because that's what this channel's about. Watching me grow organically, and I can't wait to get my 1,000 because that's when you guys get to see who my sponsors are. So, all right, you guys have a wonderful day and continue to express what makes you unique.